Good day, everybody! It is Calxiyn and Hunter here. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys should subscribe, become patrons over on Patreon to support the channel, and follow us over on social media. So Hunter came through the door of my house, and he was like, Cal, I know what the Relic of Power is. And I was like, there isn't a Relic of Power. Do you mean the Relic of Creation? And Hunter was like, yes, but it doesn't matter what it's called.
I don't care if I forgot what it was called.
Go ahead and explain to them.
Well, to be in all fairness, this is an inaccurate telling of the story because I was lying on my couch when suddenly I had a bolt of lightning strike my mind, and I realized what the Relic of Creation would do.
Okay.
All fairness, I don't actually know what it does, nor do I even really have a theory, but I know what it will look like.
It's holding up Atlas.
Yes.
And supposedly it probably makes stuff,
Do
but
not
we don't really
steal
know.
my thunder.
All right.
So, we learned from the last episode that the Relic of Creation is currently holding up all of Atlas. It's the reason we presumably just thought it was gravity dust, but no, it's the relic that's lifting it up. Atlas. If we reverse this a little, in Greek mythology, Atlas was the name of the god that lifted the earth or kept Earth aloft on its axis.
Yeah.
So my argument is that what if an Atlas-like creature is what is in the Relic of Creation?
So a Titan.
Yes, a Titan.
Here's my question for you. Do you know what condemned Atlas to having to hold up the world?
Because he fought with the Titans against the Olympians. Listen, we both went to that Wikipedia page.
I'm just saying.
We both know what happened.
So he was one of the Titans that were bad, basically.
Well, all the Titans were bad.
I know, but I'm just saying, because, some of the Titans were locked in, we've all seen Hercules, okay? They were locked in,
Underground?
I don't know what you call it anymore, Tartarus? They were locked in, the evil place.
So they weren't, but not...
But not all of them.
Not Atlas. Atlas, that's what he was condemned to do. He was condemned to hold the world. So I think that if we see, either this season, next season, or somewhere along in the scope of RWBY, if we see...
Who's inside,
I imagine it's going to look like Atlas. So what does Atlas look like? I imagine just a very, very large, muscular man.
I guess so, yeah.
Like a big, beefy boy. Kind of like, I imagine like Kronk. Just the very sort of
You mean
himbo,
from the Emperor's New Groove?
Just big, kind of himbo energy. Because he's presumably going to be blue. With gold affixtions on him. Well, because Jin was blue, and...
I thought they would all be different colors.
Well, because...
Was that just me?
Well, because the Relic of Creation is blue and gold.
Oh, yeah, I guess they're all the same. Yeah,
and knowledge
you're
is blue as gold, so he's probably going to be blue skin with, a gold various accoutrement on his body.
Right.
Accessories,
I understand
if you will.
Yeah, in my head, I imagined them to be all different colors, but yeah, you're right. All of the relics are... That would sort of make sense, too, because when you think about it, so I thought that all the relics would be women, right? But if you have to use the same skin color and the same gold, if you have to use blue and gold, that really limits you in terms of, they all look the same eventually, you know what I mean? You only have really two colors to work with, right? So you would really have to change in terms of body type to make sure that they look different enough, even though they're using the same colors.
You get a giant rippling man be the creature with it. Now, I don't know what his name is. You can't call him Atlas.
What if that's what they named the city after?
Unless his name is Titan.
But that's not a color. I mean, I guess Jin isn't a color either.
Jin isn't a color either.
Yeah, because they aren't destined for the color rule. They were made before that. So yeah, you can call him Titan if you want.
Typically, you're just named after the thing you are. Like Jin is a Jinn, which is just another word for a genie. So... Titan would presumably just be called Titan because he is a Titan.
Here's my only question.
Yes.
Do you think that it'll be, Titans aren't Greek gods, right? What sort of power do they have? Because this is the Relic of Creation, right? So if we go more, I like your idea, and I think that you're probably mostly right, but I also feel like that maybe instead of it actually being Atlas, it could be the god that condemned Atlas. Does that make sense? If it's Zeus or something like that? You understand what I mean?
He might look a lot more like Zeus.
Because in my mind, right,
they might go generic
Jin
with it.
equals asking questions. You ask a genie, wishes, questions, whatever, right? That's a whole, oracle. Woo! Right? That's a whole thing. But with something that has creative power, you think, gods, Greek gods, stuff in that with myth. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Atlas is a Titan, and the Titans are, I think, the sons of Kronos. Question mark, hello, like...
Okay, so
you know.
many of them were Tartarus by Zeus.
Yeah, that's what I
And
thought.
Zeus condemned Atlas to stand at the western edge of Gaia, which is Earth,
Right.
and hold up the world on its axis. So he might also look like Zeus. They might go generic, because then again, jinns are very broad.
Because in my mind,
there's the
now
idea
that you mentioned Gaia, right, Earth is creation. So that's like, it all sort of ties...
How is Earth? What?
Because Earth, like, creation, like, you know, you when you think of Gaia, right?
Yeah.
And, like, it's like,
Sure.
ooh, like, flowers and greenery and, like, growing the...
It could be, I mean,
you know,
yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's in my head. Like, spring, right? Spring equals growth equals Earth equals... You know what I'm saying? But I think that you are onto something, at the very least. But I'm sort of thinking in terms of very, very basic, like, if Jinn equals questions in, like, you know, genie. If Jinn equals genie, what does creation equal? Like, what is stuff in myth that can create? And mostly it is gods and maybe, like, wizards and stuff like that. I think going the Greek god route, like, he'll definitely look like a Greek god, even if he's sort of a mixture of, like, what a Titan would look like. Because I've seen art of Atlas. The depictions of Atlas are just a very beefy man carrying the earth.
And he might have,
he
like,
doesn't
the
necessarily
crown
look
of, like,
like
olive leaves around his head. He also has a very small penis.
You know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily look like a Titan in terms of the Hercules, like,
but
depiction of Titans.
In all
if that
fairness,
makes
the
sense.
Hercules Disney film wasn't
I know,
much
I'm just saying, like, for, you know, I'm just saying for them, right? Like, I agree with you, big beefy man is probably the way to go here.
He's also
But I raise you.
Yes.
Nora. Pyrrha was Achilles, and Pyrrha was gender bent.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I don't know what other Greek mythology characters
I mean,
we
to
have.
be fair, they gender bent Jinn as well, so it might just be big, strong woman.
Yeah, because when you think of Genie, let's be honest, we all think of Genie from Aladdin.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So my idea, Hunter, is that it's not a man, but it's a very buff woman. That would be my guess. That would be what I would want, personally, if they are all women. I don't know why I thought that,
But to be fair, Jinn are not just the genie in the lamp. They're just a part in Islam. In Islam, it's it's just a piece of creation.
I'm just saying, like, when you think about Genie in terms of modern culture,
so
you think of the Aladdin Genie.
Jinn, I believe.
And it's also very clear that the Aladdin Genie is kind of what they went for. Because in the recent
blue,
couple,
right?
you know, in the recent couple, I don't want to say years, but in the recent sort of internet times, the gender bent genie has been a thing. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like vocalists have done gender bent, like Friend Like Me and Prince Ali, right? There's that. Sure. But people have been sort of obsessed. There was a time where people were obsessed with the gender bent genie art. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And so in my head, I'm like, why don't we gender bent Atlas as well and make them a big buff woman? But yeah, I think that you're definitely on the right track.
What I think is also interesting is that their symbol is often the celestial spear, which is a large orb, which is also kind of what...
You know what I just realized?
What?
Ironwood was looking at, like, the stars and, like, you know, like, his, like, little planetary table, and it's like, if Atlas is, like, holding up the Earth,
that's
that,
also
like,
a good
you know
point.
what I mean? Like, it's the
Atlas
sort of
also...
Earth imagery, like, holding up the Earth, and you see all sort of the planet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody.
No, that's fair, because Atlas, it's often, an atlas is used to describe, a collection of maps. They also talk about how he created the concept of, astrology.
Yeah, and Ironwood is, like, obsessed with the stars.
So that could be another connection.
Oh boy! Oh
my
my
thing
God.
is that if he,
I feel like I just blew my
I
mind.
think the
what the heck?
sphere, the astrological sphere that he carries in the artwork and in typical, like, classical, I guess, interpretations of him, also kind of looks like the Atlas or the relic of creation, and that is kind of like a globe, and then with a spear going through it.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
here's
the
my
spear
question.
is confusing, and I'm like, what Greek gods use a spear?
Other than, I mean, Achilles, who is...
I guess so, who smoked,
who
right?
is dead.
Unless they bring back...
No, you keep that inside right there. Okay, here's my question. I just thought of something crazy, and I feel like that you just made me forget.
Okay.
It was something about Ironwood.
That Ironwood.
I think I lost my train of thought. I think I lost my idea.
Well,
Oh, wait a second. Why is it round? Did people believe in a round Earth before?
They did.
Because in depictions, right, it's a sphere. So how did the flat Earth, like the Earth is square, started?
Ancient Greeks knew the Earth was flat because when they could
they knew the Earth was round.
Sorry, they knew the Earth was round. I apologize. because when they saw boats go over the horizon, their bottoms would sink before their masts did.
Right.
So they realized the Earth was curved.
That was my question. This is how I want to end this video. Why did that stop? Like, what happened? Why did everybody go into, oh, the Earth's a square, actually, or whatever?
Well,
like,
history
you know what
has
I mean?
not always been a straight line of like, we know more stuff.
Because I just realized, I'm like, did the people think that the Earth was flat? I guess the Greeks knew, alright?
People are fucking idiots. Not everyone had boats, but people have been known that the Earth is a sphere for a very long time, and it is a sphere.
It is a sphere, guys.
It is a sphere.
Anyway.
We also don't know what like he can do. He can he's the creation, so he can create things.
Is it like Jinn where you get like 3 sort of things that you can ask every 100 years? Because what if one of his things was like Ozpin was like, hey, hold up the city, please? Like, you know what I mean? And the god was like, okay, well that's one.
Create something. Can you create endless energy for me?
Yeah, exactly. Can you create an endless flow of energy? Right?
Or is that like the only thing it does?
It seems like the caveat to this one is that if you move it, like, it can only be used for one thing at a time. So if you used it for Penny, say, for example.
That's right, you can only...
If you used it for Penny, the city would fall.
Yes.
Does that make sense? And so it's one of those things where it's like, is that the caveat? Because the one with Jinn, like, there's always a trick. The trick with Jinn was you only get 3 questions. So what if the trick here is like, oh, you could only use it for one thing at a time? Because you think that people would want to go crazy with limitless creation, right? But I think that may be the caveat. So I guess Ozpin was like, hey, could you just make us some unlimited power, all right? Like, cool. But this may actually play into, you know, now that I mentioned it, like the Penny, theory situation is that we were like hoping by the end she would be a real girl, and somebody was like, but if Pietro puts the rest of his aura in Penny, wouldn't it just be Pietro? And I was just like, I don't know, like when Pietro dies, if he gave like how we talked about that in our analysis. So that may be for another video, but I think it would be interesting if the city falls, because it's going to. Let's be honest. Someone's gonna take the relic out and Atlas is gonna start crashing to the ground.
It's gonna be Wasp, it's gonna be
Cinder and Neo are gonna be
monkeys.
like, oh, this looks you know, sort of defenseless right now, right? It's gonna be something like that, and it's gonna fall. So if you can use it for something else, would you use it for Penny so she can be a real girl, right? Or would you use it to make Roman? And similar to Full Metal Alchemist, things don't go very well for you.
He comes back and he's crawling in pain. That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And you wouldn't even need Gray back, because he would just be making gurgling noises. Anyone can do that. You know what I mean?
I guess
Get Hunter to do it. It's fine. Anyway,
right here,
we will see you guys later. This has been Hunter's theory on the Atlas.
If this turns right, I'm going to be so obnoxious. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, I'm the one who guessed there were people in there to begin with. What if this one doesn't have a person in it at all? What if it's just an object?
Fuck me, I suppose.
Anyway, we will see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.